Right, hello and welcome on today's live holistic call, a special call because we are launching the Golden Keys to Prosperity. I am super excited because I've got a number of the Prosperity IQ, I call you Prosperity IQ, speakers, authors, change makers, encouragers, visionaries that's actually participating in the co-creation of the Golden Keys to Prosperity, an online video program. And I also call it documentary because actually all of you participating in this co-creation, you brought in your own insights and your own experience, your own expertise of what prosperity is all about to you personally, from bringing different angles. So the whole idea about prosperity for me started off because I work with the Golden system, and the Golden Muse, ChriSOULa, the Golden Muse, is all about digging deep and really embracing your golden worth and your golden power and your golden, all of that wisdom and your inner power. Okay, so all of that came through that's my inspiration because I work with the Golden. But at the same time, I said to myself, okay, Golden Keys to Prosperity really spoke to me. I started doing this course last year as a 7-week online program. But since last year, as you know, we all evolve, don't we? So here I am then, and I said to myself, there's something going on, and I've been involved with radio broadcasting over the last 7 years. A number of you have been on my radio shows. So I thought, why not add some more value to it and bring more people on board, people that like yourselves that have got so much wisdom to share and see prosperity from a different angle. Okay, so that's what we have done. And I'm delighted because we are actually launching it today. And it's actually launching on Source TV. Fabulous. So I know I've already asked you all to mute yourself, so you cannot say yay. It's okay, don't worry about it. It's all right. I can see you smiling. So, okay. Now, prosperity then, when I've interviewed a number of you, like Richard Ashworth, Marion Bevington, Julian Hart, Jill Barham, Sandra Habby, and a number of other prosperity speakers that are not on the call today. They couldn't make it on the call today. But I will actually carry on the conversations about prosperity in June, in July, in August, because there's so much to be shared anyway. So we cannot put it all in one sort of 45 minute call. It's not possible, is it? So there you go. Now, prosperity, when I was asking you, you were actually bringing different aspects to different ways of seeing it. And I was saying to myself, is prosperity only money? I was asking that question. And none of you actually said prosperity equals money. Prosperity equals success. So every single one of you said prosperity and adding something else, adding another sort of, seeing it from a different sort of more connecting with your inner knowing, your inner worth. And there are lots of other things that we're talking about: prosperity and flow, prosperity and breath, prosperity and rose alchemy, prosperity and shamanic healing, prosperity and elite health, prosperity and, oh my God, masculine energy, feminine energy, how to bring these two together. Absolutely wonderful. Okay, so it is a 21-day program. So yes, now decided it's 21 days. It took me a long time to get to that. 21 days because in the system of color mirrors, number 21 is called the key. Believe it or not, it's called the key. So you've got two colors there. You've got yellow and gold. And I'll be thinking about different sort of 12-day program or 18-day program. And eventually I spoke with Rachel as well, the co-creator of Source TV, and she felt that 21 is actually absolutely perfect. So there you are. We've got a 21-day program. There. Oh, it feels so good. So I like to start. I like to start with actually Richard, because I believe, from my point of view, prosperity is equally very much about flow, being in the flow.
Yeah.
And
yes, indeed.
Indeed, yes, indeed. And Richard is a Feng Shui master and healer. And Richard, would you like to say a few words about your sort of take on prosperity and flow, prosperity and Feng Shui?
Prosperity, abundance, obviously a much bigger thing than money. We all have an appropriate path, and what Feng Shui does is to kind of clear the way to where we're supposed to be going, and whatever prosperity there is should be made easier that way. But for some people, prosperity is great financial wealth. For some people, prosperity is happiness without wealth. For some people, prosperity is a much more abstract thing. Mm-hmm. But it is a question of seeing what is appropriate and steering towards it.
Yes, it's a very personal thing. Absolutely, it's very subjective.
Yeah.
Yes, there's no, again, I am still a believer. I feel that all of you here have the same sort of perceiving life in the same way. There's no right or wrong, okay? You see life from one angle, that's your perspective. You're here to appreciate life in that way. But in your case, Richard, what brings that flow? What brings that flow in our lives?
The process is one of a kinesthetic feeling being present, mm-hmm. and also a yang visualization. It is a question of integrating those things. Mm-hmm. In order to transform things, what we need to do is to tell the truth about the way things are. So a Feng Shui survey, or a Bazi, which I do a great deal of, is personal Feng Shui, takes stock of the position we're at. And very often, someone will be aiming to go in that direction, but actually they're pulling in this direction. Mm. And that's the first step. The first step is to be truthful about where we're at, both in terms of our feelings, in terms of our history, in terms of our choices, and then look at where it is we're trying to get to. And I've done an awful lot of work with people who are abundant or prosperous in terms of the way the world sees it, but frankly not that prosperous in many rather more subtle ways, because what they had was everything out of balance. Mm-hmm. But they were so run by money that they were rather miserable people. And that's, I would almost say it's in inverse proportion. That is to say, the very wealthiest people I have worked with have not always been the happiest.
Interesting, very interesting. Thank you, Richard. Thank you very much. We'll see if there's time to come back to you. Maybe there will be a question afterwards. Thank you. I like to come to the flow. For me, is also very much connected with appreciation of Mother Earth, connection with the elements, connection with nature, connection with roses. It's the energy of rose is absolutely one of the most, high vibrational energies that exist in the world. So I like to come to you, Sandy, next. Oh, I like to call you Sandra, but there you are. Hello, my dear. Hello.
Hi.
So,
hi, ChriSOULa. Hi, everybody.
So you've got a beautiful white rose at the background this time.
Yeah, I have. This is the rose from the Rose Ma set, the mother of the rose, and she says, "I am compassion." Mm. And I think that that's actually a really interesting place to start, because it's only when we have come to this place of perhaps a resolution and peace within ourselves that we are able to step forward and really hold that place of compassionate action or compassionate placement in our way of working with our clients and others, because we are all resolving different aspects of the human condition, of our story and our heart field. So my work with roses has really been that whole place of helping people clear their stories, because the heart is our attractor factor. It's that magnetic energy that attracts to us the people and the experiences and the opportunities which perhaps make us feel prosperous or not in the world by what we're experiencing, or our comfort and ease in relationship to that. So this place of the heart feels to me to be, being able to really acknowledge what lights us up and what we're drawn to, and that feeling of flow is what you're speaking with Richard. It's that feeling of being in the flow of our lives that makes us feel like we're in alignment, we're on purpose, and there is a richness to the process. Because I think for most of us, we've come to realize that actually the sort of the 3D riches, if you like, are not that's not where security is, or stability, or our sense of our self-value, because that can be gone in a moment. Our sense of well-being and alignment with life, a feeling of connection with life, comes from the feeling within our hearts.
And I guess
the driver.
Yes, and I guess the first step, it is absolutely, it is compassion. If you think about it, compassion, because it all starts from the need to love yourself, and you see yourself as value to do something with yourself, to explore more and expand more and evolve. And then if you don't care enough about yourself, you will never make the step. You will never ever think about how you can look after different parts of your well-being, whether that's physical, mental. That's one of the key steps. If you want to talk about the golden keys, that's one of the key steps. If just saying, yes, I deserve more. Yes, I want to find more peace, more happiness, more joy, more love, a loving partner, more money, whatever that is.
But one of the key places in the rose codes and frequencies that I've been blessed to be a vehicle of is a group called the Rose Angels, and they are the transformers for what the roses describe as the Magdalene wounds, as the 5 wounds to the heart. And what they enable us to do is to dig for the gold, exactly as you've been speaking of. But these are jewels. We dig in and we find the jewels of self-love, self-value, self-appreciation, and then come up to the solar plexus for a real sense of being able to trust our gut wisdom, our inner knowing, up to the throat for truth, that expression of our truth, up to the third eye to let go of judgment so that we come into this place of forgiveness, and then up to the crown so that we are in surrender to the wisdom, that we allow that to flow through us for us to be vehicles for the light, that can only radiate from us to the degree that we are able to hold that energy within the heart field. So it's this is when we come into this sovereign place of sovereignty in ourselves, and can hopefully be guides and way showers for others around us. So safe counsel, safe place. So it's that prosperity comes in lots of ways for us, in lots of different language. Yes,
absolutely. The different languages and words can be one way of expressing ourselves, but not only. There are different ways of expressing ourselves, and the actual connecting the energies of masculine and feminine, that's a really big part of the Golden Muse Prosperity program, because probably we feel that I'm a woman, feminine energy. Oh, you're a man, masculine energy. Well, actually, no, we have both both of them in each and every one of us.
Yeah.
So and then sometimes there are dramas, stories coming from the past, from generation, and then these energies are not balanced inside us, and that could be easily, possibly, a reason why we are not embracing our full selves. And I will come to Julie because,
but the feminine,
Julie's also hopefully Sandy will going to come back in and have more about the feminine, because Sandy says that you are actually one of the prosperity IQ speakers that we did discuss quite in depth about the masculine and the feminine, bringing in the rose energy as well. Absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much, Sandy. Right, Julie, I'll come to you because you work with women, and your key, again talking about keys, your key passion is empowering women. But equally, you see yourself also how men and women can co-create, can work together. So what is your take about feminine energy and prosperity?
Feminine energy for me is in the beauty of the vision, in weaving in the unseen, the advancement of the spirit, connecting to the feeling of the inner being, emerging in all that you are, and weaving beauty, that feminine purity that is conflict free, it's crisis free, it's not confused, it has clarity, a strong intent, and she knows that her path is unlimited, and in unlimited she's open to receiving, with a strong connection to Mother Earth, with a strong connection to the elements, with a strong connection to Father Sky, and coming into consciousness of all that we are, and in that consciousness having the enlightenment, walking, growing, experiencing, learning, earning the right to our wisdom through our ability to own ourselves, take responsibility, understand those spiritual principles, where we know that the universe is holding us, where we know everything's working out, where we are very aware and awake to our own consciousness, that we don't those emotions and feelings that just take us off our sacred path, where we give ourselves chance to reflect and to have oneness, and to believe and keep it simple, that is a connection with the infinite, with the divine. It's not something that happened in our past, to release ourselves of the story. Because if we go with the premise that actually it's all divinely sent, then everything has been synchronized for us to be who we are, achieve our mission, and that we kept walking and heightening our consciousness, that whatever prosperity we desire, we see it, we feel it, we be it, we know it, we experience it. It's all there. We're all parts of us, align as one, ending that separation and coming into more infinite wholeness. I think it's a beautiful journey. It's one of strength and courage. But I think that journey then is absolutely beautiful, of growth and development and enlightenment and knowledge, and sharing it, taking your position in the world. And I really feel that if we look for prosperity on the outer, there is always something missing. I see a lot of that in the work that I've done and past experience, that we can build up the material or the money and try and gain happiness, identity, sense of self. It's not sustainable. I've not seen it where that is sustainable.
Yes. Yes, thank you, Julie. Thank
welcome.
you. You did mention about courage, and we did said about that the first step, it is about being compassionate with yourself. But even if you're not compassionate with yourself, even if you are, because this program is available for anyone at whatever stage you are in your life path, in your evolutionary journey. So even if you're somebody who just started realizing what you want you know who you are, but you're not sure. You've got these questions, but you know deep in your heart that there's more. Yeah, but you want to start digging in deeper, but it takes a lot of courage to do that, because we are all sort of set in our ways, and it's like from our comfort or wherever we are, everybody whatever else said to us, but it takes a lot of courage. And one of the golden keys to prosperity is faith. Faith is the key foundation, and that within that we have the courage, and we have also the releasing of judgments, like really wanting to see life from a different perspective. Yes, gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's the beauty of our primal energy, is the purity of the feminine energy, that we can release the judgment, we can release the criticism and rise above. So we have got clarity, and we're not holding that inner conflict with ourselves or within any of our relationships. That is the beauty, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. It's not. It's a. I will not. I would like to use the word challenge. It can be challenging.
Yeah.
It can be challenging. But that's why there are a number of books, a number of techniques and tools, and people like ourselves here, that we are actually we are here to support, to inspire, to empower. But the grounding thing is actually, if you really want to do this, nobody else will do it for you, right? So you've got to step up and say yes to it. Yeah. And embrace it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And sometimes the challenge is just a perception of the myth of the mind. It can be a gift, and I think those challenges are miracles and bring you closer to the divine. If you allow that in, if you align that way.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you. I'd like to allow some time for questions, because I would like to get to the very end of the call, and then we say, we have no time for questions. And I like everybody to have the chance to, if there's something that really sort of speaks to you, and you want to, something that somebody said, and then there's like a trigger, and you like to ask something, then please, put your hand up and ask a question. Or if you got your own take on prosperity, you don't have to be one of the Prosperity AQ speakers to come up with, share your truth. You're very welcome to do so. Before I move on to Marion and Jill, is there something that you'd like to share? Something that speaks to you? If that's the case, let's put your hand up or unmute yourself. There you are, Constance, here, my dear.
Yes, there was just...
Oh, sorry, hold on. Okay, you're done. Okay, clear, yes.
Yes, I'm here. Okay, there's one thing I thought of when I came on to the program, that I thought, hey, in Dutch, prosperity means welvaart. And in Dutch, that's, if you cut it in pieces, it's well sailing, actually, translated it. So I thought, to me, it is all about how can you have life that's in the flow, it's mentioned, and how can you feel happy in what you're progressing in, and how can you enjoy the sailing, if you ask. So I just thought it was funny when I looked the word up, because I thought, what is that in Dutch actually exactly? And then I thought, it has already so much in the language, and I know you like language, so I just wanted to.
Yes, lovely. Thank you. And then prosperity is also spirit. So it's actually, go with your spirit. Is that right? So that's really, I found like I don't know what you want to call it, not a motto. I don't know. I put it like set your spirit free to alchemize your life. So that's so the golden gifts to prosperity, set your spirit free to alchemize your life. So bring the alchemy.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you, Constance. Thank you from lovely Holland. Okay. And anybody else would like to contribute, to say anything at this point? Maybe there's something else later on. Okay. Right. Fabulous. So let me just see for a moment. Yeah, okay, we got plenty of time. Fabulous. Okay. So I like to come to Marion. Hello, Marion, my dear. Okay, I did it.
Okay, you can hear me now.
Yes.
I was leaving it to your control.
Oh, that's wonderful to have you on the call. Like it is, because the things we are actually talking, they're very much everybody. We are interconnecting, aren't we? You know, like whatever truth comes from you, probably somehow is the same truth coming from somebody else, but you see it from a different angle, and that's why I felt. The 21-day Golden Keys Prosperity Program gives that extra value, the extra dimension, if you like, because each and every one of you brings your own vibration. Each and every one brings your own trigger, you know, like your own key. You are a golden key in the whole thing. You know what I mean? So yes. You're all bringing your own wisdom that the people will be saying yes to participate, to purchasing the actual course and do the course, and then all the way through, following the steps, following the guidance, following the meditations, following the different techniques, and journaling. There are lots of things that are actually have put it together. The thing is that you're going to receive the inspiration, and then you maybe actually receive it from me, from Marion, from Jill, from Richard, from Sandra, from Julie, from Rachel, Derek, whoever else is actually part of this online course. And it could be for every little thing actually will add up, every little golden nugget.
I think we are like the webs, aren't we? We're the lines of web, and the whole of the spider's web is all of us connected. Mm-hmm. So there's a network of information, there's a network of people, there's a network of ideas. We're all different parts to it, but it's the same web.
Yes,
there's one truth in the same web.
Yeah. Yes.
What was lovely, what's been spoken about so far is the idea of prosperity and the feminine energy, and this idea of courage are just really for me, the fundamental stuff around this that we can learn, or what that I can learn from, is about acceptance and receiving, and that's like the foundation of feminine energy, isn't it? To be receptive. Mm. And being receptive and courageous often feel like there's a bit of conflict there, because courageous has got more of an outward
action.
Yeah. So there's that kind of conflict that comes up when you think about feminine courage. For me.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Speak for me. What came to mind was this. I wrote a blog ages ago about the game musical chairs. It's been since childhood. The idea of playing musical chairs was always full of joy because it was a party game. But as soon as we started playing it, I hated it, because they would take one of the chairs away. And it would always be like, oh no, that means like somebody can't play anymore. It was a game that I kind of learned to dread. Part of it was I've got 4 brothers, and I would want to give up my chair so my brothers could win. But then there'd be another bit of me that wanted to get my chair because I wanted to be the winner as well. And the reality of it is we can all win, can't we? So nobody ever needs to take the chair away. In fact, if they didn't take the chair away, do you think they could make a game of musical chairs last for the whole afternoon? Just stop and start the music, and people sit down and run and sit down. It's like these structures, these social structures that are used to entertain us, can create so many boxed in mental ideas, frameworks that it's our education, those sorts of games. So learning about musical chairs is like the opposite of prosperity, isn't it?
I love the analogy you're bringing in, Marion. Oh, bless you, because in your sort of your input, or your way of seeing prosperity comes from a point of awareness of really connecting with what you really want in life. But the actual knowing what you really want in life is actually comes from the contrast of knowing what you don't want in life. And sometimes we know what we don't want, but we don't really know what we want, right? So that's what Marianne. One of the things we're actually talking part of the interview.
Yeah, so, if we did keys, the system that I work with, we've got 3 keys, and the first one is awareness, and it's huge. It's like most of the content of what we teach and share is underneath the heading of awareness. We've got intention and we've got manifestation, but awareness is huge because you need to know where you are, you need to know what you want, and then understanding what it is about you that wants it, because of their beliefs that are upheld in it that actually mean it's a desire that's not going to serve you. So this, I love awareness. It's a Pandora's box, isn't it?
It is.
The detective playing the detective. Great.
Well, within awareness also you come to find out more about stillness, about really creating a space where you can connect with your spirit, or connect whatever spirit means to you. Again, it's a very, very personal thing, isn't it? Very personal relationship with your spirit. And then from that point, really dropping in and connecting with your intuition. And that's another topic, part of the Golden Keys prosperity and intuition, prosperity and gut feeling, prosperity and inner knowing, inner truth.
Yes.
So that's another element to it. Fabulous. So yes, awareness, intention. That's another key. When you say, I don't know, whatever you're setting an intention. There's a process behind it. It's not just to say, I'll fancy a car, for example, a very, very, very sporty car, red car, but you've got to be very specific. There's another process. Then we are actually taking you through the process that requires to manifest what you want in your life. It could be manifesting good health, and I'm going to come to Jill Barham in a moment. It could be manifesting, more money, and then again, Richard, for example, you can help with that element in terms of the way you're facing. This feng shui is just absolutely wow. It's just there's so much to it, but it's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. I've been involved not in being trained in feng shui, but I am totally passionate about feng shui for the last probably 12 years. So I've been learning about it, but I'm not a practitioner. I'm not certified. I'm not saying that. But I have done a lot of work and interview a lot of people like Richard. Davina McHale is another prosperity IQ speaker that participates in the program. Rachel, I know as well. Fantastic. So any questions before we move to Jill Barham? I would like all of you to say something. You're not going to go without just, you're muted, not because I don't want you to speak, by the way. You know me, I'm inclusive. That's it. So there you go. Let me just, have you got anything, just put your hand up, okay? Right? So if I don't want to push you necessarily, just put your hand up. Okay, right. Let me move to Jill. Hello, my dear Jill.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, my dear. So, okay. So far, we talked about prosperity, and we looked at different things: prosperity and inner truth, prosperity and inner knowing, prosperity and flow, success, money. Now, what else prosperity can bring to us? What about a little bit of good health? Would that be okay? Because we can have all of that. We can have all of the, the beauty in the world, and we have expensive cars and huge houses. If you think about prosperity in that way, sort of materials, if you like. But then, if we are not healthy, what can we do, Jill?
Exactly, and I think that's what Richard started the call by saying, that he knows lots of people that are wealthy but not necessarily healthy and not necessarily happy either. And if you look at prosperity, or the definition of prosperity or well-being, it's having a balance of all three. But of course, because my particular passion is around health, then I suppose I have much more of a concentration towards underpinning the way that you feel prosperous, or that you become prosperous, or whatever terminology you want to use. Because unless you have your health, just turning it up on its head, unless you have your health, then actually you really don't have anything. And you know, as you know, I've worked in the health industry, firstly as a nurse within the National Health Service, and now as a functional nutrition, as a natural health therapist. And you know, I was very fortunate to spend some time with people at the end of their life when I was working as a nurse. And what stuck out for me, and I've always remembered it, is that at those times, in those last minutes or hours, is that nobody really ever said, oh, I wished I'd had that red Ferrari, or I wished I'd gone on more holidays, or I wished I'd you know, spent more money on you know, a better dog, or you know, whatever it might be. All they wanted to know was I loved? You know, am I going to be missed? Have I made a difference in the world? Have I left a legacy behind, essentially? Because all that material stuff just kind of goes out of the window. And so one of the things that, you know, I've learned, because we're all on a journey, aren't we? And I mean, and I know, you know, I'm amongst all these wonderful evolutionaries and luminaries, and what's become obvious to me during my last year, and some of that has been spent with Marion, for example, and you obviously, ChriSOULa, as well, is the evolution that I've gone through, and that actually I realised that my own growth and my own journey and my point of coming to balance and to peace and to enjoyment as well, is actually allowing me to manifest the type of life that I want, and also the type of clients are becoming more attracted to me, because, you know, I am not there to necessarily fix anybody, but there is a situation that if we're going to get into alignment, if we're going to have this wonderful sense that Sandy's talking about and that Judy's talking about, is that actually if you're imbalanced in your health, then it's very difficult to be balanced in your mind, because as Sue will know, you know, we've talked about the gut-brain connection, and if you have a very poor functioning gut, it's very difficult to have a healthy and active and functioning brain, effectively, and your emotions are affected by it all. But conversely, if we don't have a good sense of ourselves, it's also very difficult to have good health if we're not made aware. And this is some of the stuff that I've been doing with Marion, for example, is becoming aware of some of the things that have held my own health back, and my own recovery, if you like, back, and my own journey into elite health. And so the work that I've been doing over the last 6 months, although it looks like I've been really busy in terms of speaking and writing a book and doing lots of talks and blah, 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 actually what's really interesting for me is that the work over the last 6 to 9 months has been mostly on myself. And what I've discovered is that by working on myself, I can then realize that actually I can't really set myself up as some sort of guru who wants to heal everybody. That's not the intention of where I'm coming from. And clearly I have a lot of knowledge, and clearly I do indeed have the ability to be able to educate people so that they can take the action. But actually what you were talking about earlier is this allowing this to happen. Because unless you're in a sense, in a state, in the right time, and the question you asked me, ChriSOULa, at the end of our interview was, you know, when somebody comes and they want to work with you, what's the question that you ask? And actually the question that I ask now, it wouldn't have been the same even probably 6 months ago, or even 3 months ago. The question I ask now is, are you ready? Are you ready to do what's needed? Are you ready to take the action? Are you ready to make the changes that you need to make and allow yourself to be well?
Yeah, it is the commitment, it is the dedication that is required for every single step or new direction or new adventure or new journey. Yeah. Yes.
And it is like any journey, and that can be slightly scary. But of course, you know, we're all in the same position, and that there will be certain people that are attracted to us, that understand the language that we use and resonate with the language that we use. And, you know, there are some people that I wouldn't have been ready to have worked with a year or so, or 2 years ago, because I would have considered it too kind of woo woo, you know, that's all crazy stuff. But actually, you know, part of my journey is understanding that some of the language that I use is also not suitable for people at that stage of their life. For example, you know, if they're very caught up in the National Health Service type framework, which is you go to the doctor with a symptom, he diagnoses you, he gives you a pill or a potion in order to mend you and treat the symptom, then, you know, I meet this all the time, that I'm talking about building health rather than treating symptoms. And it's like I'm talking in, you know, double Dutch. I'm talking in some weird foreign language. They're just not listening because they're not ready. They're not allowing that information to come in because it's just outside of their you know, their world, their parameters, whatever you want to call it. And so the skill of, I think, of what we all do is just being open and being a bit more magnetic to allow those people to come towards us. And this is massive for me. And Marion will be sitting there, you know, grinning her little head off. I can see she is. Because, you know, you can ask her, this is a very different me than I was when I signed up to their program just over a year ago. Isn't that right, Marion?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Very right.
Yay. Yay. Thank you, Jill. Thank you very much. Thank you, my dear.
You're welcome. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to participate in your Keys to Prosperity.
Thank you. Richard.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm very interested in what you had to say, Jill, because you're working on what looks to be a different kind of furrow to the one I'm working, and it kind of isn't. I mean, what I often say is that feng shui without an awareness of personal responsibility is at best nonsense and at worst dangerous, because there is very little point in having solved a problem, whether it's financial, health, or something else, without the lesson being learned. Because the question that remains is, why did you get there? Why was it so? And I've recently been working, I'm just at the moment, working with some very wealthy people. But I say wealthy, by most people's standards wealthy, but in their opinion, they have terrible cash flow problems. And the thing is, I can do mechanical stuff for them. So house by house, I can change their houses, and I can make it so that the flow is restored. But what's really needed is an awareness of what was in the way in the first place. And I would use what's called a bazi, which is personal feng shui, to do that. But with these particular people, who are very bright, very smart, very linear people, the problem is actually they need to take it more personally. They need to stop looking for something to do it. I mean, not that they're irresponsible in that respect, they're just using facilities. But they need to lose themselves in it. They need to lose themselves in it emotionally. They need to be prepared to accept a completely left field solution. And so it's a function of dealing with on the level of spirit, if you like. The Chinese would say Tian Ti Ren, dealing with it on the level of heaven and human as opposed to earth. So not a mechanical thing, but a kind of a search that involves a surrender.
I love that. Surrender.
And we see that in health with people who are diagnosed with cancer. And some people kind of hold their hands up and go, okay, you know, you can give me all that toxic stuff and I might get better, and then I'm going to be cured for 5 years and, you know, the cancer will come back. But then we see other people who take the responsibility, who allow all this information to come in and actually either, you know, live for a long time or even ultimately cure their cancer effectively. And then what happens is that the cancer industry goes, oh, you know, that was great, wasn't it? We gave him chemotherapy and it worked because the success rate was this, because all they were looking at was their little part in his or her recovery. But actually, if you really look into what that person has done in order to heal themselves, to address, as Richard says, what caused that in the first place, why did they get there, that awareness, you know, of what was it that brought me to this point? Basically, that work has been huge. It's been huge, whether it's an emotional healing or a physical healing to do with cancer. If you really looked at it and you said to them, well, that was easy, wasn't it? Took some toxic stuff and your hair fell out and it all grew back again, and now you're healed. But the people that live for a long time and a full life, if you really look at what they did, they've had these massive changes in their lives. They've changed everything about it, every single thing about it, and they've taken responsibility, which is what we've already talked about.
And we read about people who are we read in the papers that full English breakfast give you cancer, tobacco gives you cancer, sugar gives you cancer, I mean bloody everything gives you cancer. What do people who smoke, who overeat, who overindulge generally have in common? They're unhappy. I mean, it's the outside stuff. Some people need chemistry and some people don't. But the common factor is an unconscious choice. And with healing happens with feng shui, but rarely literally physical and rarely very quick. But it's a question of just coming to the point where we choose. What my model would say is human chi, which is saying, okay, this is the way it is. This is what I can do. I choose to get some kind of an outcome, whether we're talking money, whether we're talking health, whether we're talking other forms of human achievement.
Yep.
I agree, and I think the
element of choice, absolutely. I just want to make sure that it is 8:25. I just want to make sure that I would like to hear something from Jackie and from Esther before we complete the call. Sorry, Jill. I just want to make sure that these two ladies, they've got a lot to say. Believe me, I don't know how they keep quiet like that. Let me come to Jackie. Okay, did I mute you? Come on. That's it. Yeah. Hello, my dear.
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Okay. I cannot see you very well because it's not a lot of light on your beautiful face. Hello. So yes.
No, there isn't. I need to fix that.
Yes. One of the.
Okay.
If you'd like, please come in with something, your own sort of the way you see prosperity. If there's something people said that you'd like to comment on, whatever, all is welcome.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So Richard mentioned chi. See, I kind of see prosperity as energy. So it's a vibration. And if you're in a low vibration, a low energy with all these limiting beliefs, these fears, it's kind of like carrying a backpack up a hill. You're going to really struggle to get that prosperity. Whereas if you can just kind of let go, as Julie was saying, kind of just release the fear and that myth that we've got of fear and just let go, and the allowing that we've all been talking about, just allow it to be there, then it just allows you to get into that vibrational energy and receive it. That's kind of how I see it.
Yes.
Very briefly.
Yes. Well, of course, the fundamental, it is starting that, we are vibrational beings. We're all energy. And if we are at a very low energy and coming from a space of anger, let me just do that. Hold on. Okay, if we come from a space of anger, resentment, negative vibration, negative feelings, if you like, then we may change everything around us. We may change, I don't know. Probably Richard could confirm or not. But it's again, how much you work with yourself, and what you really want to have in life. So good feelings, they're actually prosperous feelings.
Good feelings.
Yeah. So it's
taking us back to that.
Carry on.
Just kind of taking us back to our core feeling, I suppose, that heart-centered happiness and just feeling good about yourself. That self-acceptance, self-love, all of that allows you to get into that energy and that vibration of it all.
Yes. There's a lot that is discussed about bringing the law of attraction Abraham Hicks is a lot. I really work, I've brought lots of that into the program as well. The art of allowing, we discussed that, but also about emotional connection, emotional well-being, and really looking at our emotions as the trigger, really. Our emotions are there to tell us whether we are in a good place or in a bad place, and becoming more conscious.
In alignment.
Yeah. So there's
that alignment, isn't it? If we're out of alignment.
Yeah. So thank you, Jackie. Thank you. I knew you got more to. We are going to carry on talking about prosperity, and we're going to have other prosperity IQ speakers in June's call, which I believe is on Monday the 12th of June. Is it, or 10th of June? I can't remember now the day, but it's the second Monday. Every second Monday we've got this holistic call. And today it was just dedicated to the launch of the Golden Keys to Prosperity. But I think we'd like to carry on talking about prosperity and all of that prosperous and joyous things in life. Yeah. So Sue, let me just come to you, because and Esther, you're going to say something in a moment as well. So what, anything that actually spoke to you? You like to share something regarding prosperity, or your take on prosperity?
Well, I certainly agree. I think it's about alignment, but it's also about very much of being in that right space. But it's about loving yourself and really having that self-love and that vibration of self-love. And for me, working with people who have health issues, what the common factor I just see so much of is that the root thing is that they're not living in true alignment. They don't love, there isn't that self-love going on and self-value. And because of that, the whole energy within people's bodies is just not truly aligned and not working in the right way, which is what actually causes people to go into ill health, if you like.
Yes.
So really important to really look after yourself and love yourself and put yourself first and bring joy and fun into your life. And I think that we're so much on this treadmill of busy today that we forget to take the time to actually just be with ourselves and just be quiet and take that time out for reflection and listening to our inner voice. When you're on that busy treadmill, and I've been there in the past, is that you're not listening to anything. And we have so much inner wisdom that we just don't hear.
Yes. That comes down to connecting with your gut feeling, connecting with your intuition, and then you cannot get to that place if you're always in a constant sort of young action sort of mode. So always sort of keeping busy and doing things. So you want to allow some space to be. Yes, fantastic. Thank you, Sue. Thank you very much. Right. I know Angie's on the call as well, but probably she prefers not to say anything at the moment, unless. Oh, hello, my dear Angie. Hello. So let me just unmute you, Esther. Hello, my dear. Again, I cannot see you very.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I'm sorry. It's the lamp on. So, but yeah, I've really enjoyed the conversation tonight. It's a subject that's really close to my heart, and I could talk for possibly a week about it. And I'm trying to bring one key thing in to kind of say, okay, because lots of people have covered some very key points, really beautiful points, but to me real prosperity is when your mind, your body and your spirit are all in line. And that's why as therapists all work together and we bring different modules in to make a person whole and complete as much as we can, giving them, like Jill was saying and Richard, the responsibility to them, but it is about that. And it sounds so easy, let's be happy and we're healthy. It's not as simple as that. It is things we really have to work on a deep level. And to me, the real core issue is having a rich relationship with the self, and then rich relationship with others, with Mother Earth, your mission, your planet Earth, massive things. Otherwise, we just don't feel prosperous in all areas of our life. So, like I said, it's a big subject that I work with a lot with clients, and I love it. I love it, basically, seeing the transformations.
Yes, it is about shifting. It's about shifting. It's about, yes.
Yeah, massive shifts. But it can take a long time, you know. It's not something you can kind of just wake up and think, I'm happy, I'm going to have green smoothies, you know. We have to work on a spiritual level, working with metaphysics, and, you know, it's big stuff, you know, prosperity.
It is. Prosperity is equals joy as well, and then equals love and equals money as well. So prosperity is all around anything to do. You know, for me, there's three big areas. You know, that keeps the wheel of fortune moving, and you know, you keep it smoothing and you keep it rolling, and emotion, and then all of that we were talking about. So yes, Esther, thank you so much. Yes, it is.
Thank you, everyone else. It's been lovely. Thank you.
It is a stepping up and say yes to yourself is one of the greatest gifts you're going to give to yourself. And I know that all of you participating on the call here tonight, you have somehow demonstrated that in your own life, whatever stage you are, whether you started 9 months ago or 12 years ago or a week ago, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that you are here and you are ready to step up and do something to explore, say yes to the possibility of exploring more and expanding more, and within that, evolving more. That's what we're here for. Richard, yes. Hold on, because you're still not...
Word.
Yeah.
You're talking about the roots of the word. I think you'll find prosperity is related to hoping and breathing.
Breathing, and the other one you said before?
Hoping and breathing.
Hope.
Latin, dum spiro spero.
Yes.
Hoping and breathing. You can tell me about the Greek, but I think it's to do with hoping and breathing.
Yes. Well, let's keep it to the Latin. That's okay. Oh, brilliant. Yes. So hope, yes, and breath. Yeah, sometimes when we are too stressed, we forget to breathe. That's true. And then that's how stress kicks in. And then from a point of stress, we cannot make a clear decision. We are getting too confused. And that's the vicious circle we're talking about after that. So where am I now? Julie said, hold on, let me see. Okay, Julie said, thank you, everyone. She had to go. She had another call. Thank you for the wisdom and blessings. Okay, fantastic. Right, so Angie, I'm going to invite you, if you like to say hello, if you like to say anything at all, even if it's just hello, goodbye, whatever that is. It's nice just to put your voice in the circle as well.
Sure, although I obviously literally got in only a couple of minutes ago from bringing my kids back from badminton, so haven't really heard what's being talked about. But just so that people know, I met with ChriSOULa what was about 10 days ago now, something like that, and sort of very early on in the journey, although I have an interest and a belief in the law of attraction, and I'm starting now to really try and say things in a different manner, to put things in a more positive stance. I've got some affirmations, I've done a vision board, so making progress.
Yes, brilliant, Angie. And just correct me if I'm wrong, how do you pronounce is it Lao Tzu? Lao Tzu, okay. Yeah. So it says, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And I would like to complete the call with this truly, wise sort of, something to take with you. And I know that some of you have already heard that before, some others may not. But I think it just is lovely just to complete the call with this.
Lovely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for all of you coming here today on the call. Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure, a real pleasure to work with you, collaborate with you, with Sandra, Richard, Marion, Jill that left, Julie, and I know I have already worked with Jackie, and I will carry on working with Jackie and Esther and Sue and Constance and Angie, and the 21-day online program documentary called Golden Muse Prosperity is launching today, and I was super excited. Thank you so much. Thank you. Lots of love to everybody, and you're very welcome. Join us in June, the second Monday in June. Lots of love. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.